This is 880 ESPN.
WHSQ and WCBS-FM HD2, New York.
Michael K. is on the radio today, and he ain't afraid to say what he's thinking. It's the Michael K. Show on 880 ESPN Radio.
And good afternoon, everybody. This is indeed the Michael K. Show. We thank you for joining us on a chilly Tuesday. It is December 9th, 2025. Me and you for two. Those are the rules of engagement, the fastest 2 hours in sports talk radio. Obviously, the big story, it involves the New York Mets. There's some movement today at the winter meetings. Kyle Schwarber stays with the Phillies, $30 million a year, a 5-year deal. There were teams that wanted him, that were pursuing him, but it's a nice fit for him in Philly. He's a leader there. They love him in the city, and so they keep him. That's off the board for other teams that were sniffing around, like the Pirates. The Pirates were sniffing around. The Mets were supposedly sniffing around as well. Speaking of the Mets, the big news is that Edwin Diaz has signed a 3-year, $69 million contract with the L.A. Dodgers. There is no limit to the Dodgers. There's no quit in the Dodgers. They've won 2 straight World Series. If any organization had the right to take a step back, it would be the Dodgers. But they continue to pour money into the team. They are relentless, and money doesn't seem to matter. But here's where it gets very odd. 3 years, $69 million for Edwin Diaz. So let's do the math. That's $23 million a year. It's being reported by several outlets that the Mets offered 3 years, $66 million with deferrals, but they had room to grow. And still, he goes to the Dodgers. Now, there are several things that you could decipher from this, and let's talk about it. Here's the deal. A, did he want no part of the Mets? Did he definitely want out? Because we hear rumors, we hear stories. Mike Puma has written a story in the New York Post about the toxicity in that clubhouse where Lindor was fighting with McNeil, and Lindor and Soto don't really have the chummy relationship. Maybe it was a situation where Diaz said, I'm out no matter what, because you can't tell me that the Mets could not have come up with $3 million more to match what the Dodgers gave. That's $1 million a year. And they didn't do it. They didn't do it. And here's the other angle I think that has to be looked at as well. Maybe the Mets didn't want him back. Maybe they made him an offer that was just good enough to turn down. And it looks like, hey, we're in. We were in, but he chose the Dodgers. But the reason I don't think that that's the case, wouldn't it have been better if they washed their hands and said, we don't want him back. We don't want him back. Nobody knows a player better than the team that had him. That's why I always say, like, when the Yankees signed Jacoby Ellsbury, you almost got the feeling this doesn't smell right. Why would the Red Sox allow Jacoby Ellsbury to go to the New York Yankees unless they knew something was up and that he was not the same player, or was not going to be the same player over a 7-year contract? Maybe they knew that he would not fit well into the pressure of New York. So I always say, when a division rival lets you sign one of their players, when they have the wherewithal financially to sign him, that is a big, big red flag. Big red flag. So again, the Mets know Diaz better than anybody. He's been there since 2019. He's a terrific closer. He's one of the top 3 closers in all of baseball. But I don't understand how you let $3 million stand in the way, unless Diaz never went back to the Mets. Maybe he just did not want to pitch for the Mets anymore. Because when he spoke at the GM meetings in November, remember the thing that he said? It's 50-50 that he'd come back to the Mets. Now, you would think that the odds would be much higher than 50-50 to return to the place where you had so much success, where you were adored by the fan base, the Timmy Trumpet stuff and all of that. And he said it was 50-50, which leads me to another conclusion. Everybody said that the Mets signed Devin Williams as insurance for losing Diaz, possibly losing Diaz. Let's look at it in a different way, everybody. Maybe they signed Devin Williams because they knew they were not getting Edwin Diaz back. Because if you take Devin Williams $51 million and then you apply it, you don't sign Devin Williams, you have that $51 million, you add 18 more, and you get one of the best closers in baseball back, Edwin Diaz, who knows what it is to pitch in New York. Think about it. Think about it. So they went with Devin Williams, and they said that he was going to set up for Diaz. My feeling is the Mets will now go out and get Suarez, and they'll team up Williams and Suarez to be a 1-2 punch at the end of the bullpen. Another thing I think needs to be addressed. Steve Cohen has so much money. So much money. His personal wealth is valued at over $22 billion, right? $22 billion. But for some reason, he went out, waited, craved, desired David Stearns. David Stearns, I think, operates as if he still has Mark Attanasio, the Brewers owner, as the guy calling the shots. Why should money ever be an issue when the Mets want a player? Why? Now, I know the Dodgers also have a truckload of money, but why should money ever be an issue for Steve Cohen? Instead, and I don't say this in a derisive way, you've got an analytic egghead that's at the forefront making the decisions. So what he's doing is he's putting a valuation on people, and he's not deviating from that valuation. This is what he's worth. This is what we're going to offer, and we're not going to go past that. But it doesn't work with Steve Cohen. That's why when it got into a bidding war with the Yankees for Soto, I don't think that Cohen was going to lose that battle. He was going to continue to up the ante. And I think that Steinbrenner realized it at the time and tapped out. Tapped out because if he had gone up to 370, right, then I think that's the move then that they'd go up another $20 million, the Mets. They were not losing out on Soto. The only way they were losing out on Soto was if Soto did not want to pitch for the Mets and had an insatiable desire to return to the Yankees. Obviously, he didn't, so he took the biggest contract. No shot at him from this precinct. That's what players are. They're businessmen. Their allegiance is very, very slight. Now, every now and then, allegiance does play out. I think Aaron Judge took a lot less money from the Yankees than he could have gotten from the Dodgers or the Giants because he wanted to remain a Yankee. That was something that meant something to him. So he signed a $360 million 9-year deal, which now is an absolute bargain. But you can't, if you're Steve Cohen, have a GM that evaluates a player fiscally and says, I'm not gonna move off of this. This is also a GM that will not give long-term contracts out to pitchers. Well, you're going to lose them. You're not going to get them. You're not going to get Max Fried unless you give him 8 years. You're not going to get Garrett Cole unless you give him 9 years. There are certain pitchers that get to demand what they want, and it's outrageous what they get, but that's what, when you're swimming in the deep end of the pool, that's what you have to do. Instead, we keep hearing that David Stearns doesn't want to give a long-term contract out to a starter. So that's why he's talking to guys like Michael King, who I think is terrific. Maybe you could get him for a 3 or 4 year deal. But how did his short-term contracts work out last year? Montas has been released. They're paying him $17 million this year to do nothing because he had Tommy John surgery. And before the Tommy John surgery, he was terrible. The other 3-year contract that they had, that didn't work out either. So if you want the top flight pitchers, and you can say, well, they did go 10, 12 years for Yamamoto. Well, Yamamoto was $25 million, 25 years old. Everybody realized that. And I think that was spurred on by Cohen. The only reason that the Mets signed Soto was because of Cohen. There's no way David Stearns would have gone that high and that long. There's no way because it doesn't make fiscal sense. But Steve Cohen wanted him. So did Steve Cohen not want Edwin Diaz? Or do they know something about Diaz that we don't know? The Dodgers last year spent a truckload of money on relievers. Just look at the guys they brought in and the money they spent, and their bullpen was absolute trash. The only reason they won the World Series was because of their starting pitching, which was so extraordinarily good. So rather than tap out and say, you know what, we're not doing this anymore, they double down, and they go out and they get the best closer available. So they're better than they were when they won the second straight championship. And I don't think they're done. I don't think they're done. Now, does this put pressure on the Mets to bring in Alonso at whatever price? Because right now, Met fans are red hot. They're not happy that they lost Diaz for $3 million. That's really hard to grasp. That's $1 million a year. So $1 million a year is essentially one minimum wage player. That's it. So you lost your closer for $1 million. You wouldn't go up to 70? So you set the limit at 66? Or maybe Diaz didn't come back to them to match because he didn't want to be there. There's so many layers to this that over time, I guess we'll end up finding out. But the Mets end up losing their closer. And there was talk that they were sniffing around Schwarber. He re-signs with the Phillies. The Mets need a bat to bat behind Juan Soto. And if they don't bring back Alonso, because I really believe that their limit with Alonso is 3 years, and maybe they would really stretch it and go to 4. But if he wants 5 or 6 years, he's not getting it from the Mets. And then who's batting behind Soto? Maybe that intensifies their desire to go out and get Bellinger? We'll see. We'll see. But everybody felt today, once Schwarber signed, that the other pieces would start to move around. Well, one of the big bats is off the board at $30 million a year. Who's next? Is it Bellinger? Is it Tucker? Do the Mets now get involved with Tucker? Every GM has to have a plan. So even if they lose out on somebody that they want, there's got to be a plan. Like the Yankees had a plan if they lost Soto. They wanted Soto desperately, but once they didn't get him, they pivoted. They signed Fried. Fried was a big reason that they were tied with the Blue Jays for the most wins in the American League. They pivoted. They went and got Goldschmidt. They pivoted. That's what they did. The Mets have to pivot now. Are you bringing in Suarez? Are you bringing in a big-time starter? And maybe throw away that silly little rule that you've imposed on yourself that you're not going to sign anybody to a long-term deal. So that like Andrew Friedman, the president of baseball operations of the Dodgers, said this a long time ago. If you're going to be rational in free agency, you're always going to finish second for the player. Always. You just are. And the Mets, for some reason, they have an owner who pays exorbitant amounts of money for art. They're suddenly becoming frugal. Explain it to me. Why did Steve Cohen hire a guy that is going to be frugal, that is going to set limits on what he spends? That's the advantage that Steve Cohen and the Dodgers have. They have more money than anybody. They should be able to outbid anybody. And they did that last year with Cohen, with Soto. And it was Cohen who signed Soto, and it was Cohen who brought back Alonso. But this time, Cohen didn't step in. He didn't say, give him $70 million. Don't let him go to the Dodgers. He let him get away. Unless, again, I don't want to continue to repeat myself, unless the bottom line is Diaz wanted no part of returning to the Mets. Why? I don't know. I'm not around the team that often, except for the 2 Subway Series. But when stories come out that clubhouse is not exactly Shangri-La, it makes you wonder, a guy like Diaz, who's kind of quiet, said, you know what, I'm out. I don't want to return there. Let's see what you think. It's time for the co-host. We'll go to you early today. Let's start with Kevin in Queens. Kevin, what do you got? Start it off.
Hey, what's going on, Mike? Thanks for taking the call.
You got it.
Yeah, listen, man. As a Mets fan, super disappointing. But I think the bigger issue here is with Stearns, is the fact that, like, yes, he's only been here for a few years, right? Not even 5 years. Like, Cohen's on the team 5 years, but maybe a little bit too early to tell. His plan is just not working out, right? What he's selling us, the Mets fans, is not working out. You said it. Short-term deals on these pitchers with that like are pretty much done, right? It's not working out. He doesn't want to sign a pitcher to a big long-term deal. They said they didn't want to go more than 3 years on Diaz, and then he signs a 3-year deal with the Dodgers. So if money's not an issue, is it his philosophy? This is what goes back to me as a fan, my trust in the front office. And this guy's really smart. We have a great owner with big pockets. What's the problem?
Yeah, I think you hit it, Kevin. I think you hit it right on the nose, my friend. I think it's philosophy. His philosophy is, I'm not going to go long-term for starting pitcher because they're going to break down. And they do. All right, so Garrett Cole broke down. Yankees still have 4 more years of Garrett Cole. They had 4 great years on Garrett Cole. Year 5, he sat out with Tommy John surgery. So they're hoping that he comes back sometime in May, and they get 4 more strong years. So you kind of you put that into the recipe. We're going to lose this guy. At some point, you hope it doesn't happen. Max Fried is probably going to get hurt. But it's not going to end his career. He'll get it repaired, and he'll come back and be a good pitcher again. It happens to everybody. You hope. I mean, Tarek Skubal has already had his Tommy John. People have 2. So Tarek Skubal, when he becomes a free agent next year, with Scott Boras as his agent, he's going to be the highest paid pitcher of all time. And he's going to get a 9 or 10-year deal. And he's going to break down in the middle of the deal at some point. And you factor that in. But if you say, I'm not doing that, you're never going to get top-flight pitching. Look at what he did last year. Passed up on Max Fried, passed up on Blake Snell, passed up on everybody, passed up on Corbin Burns, which turned out to be smart. But as I'm saying, Corbin Burns broke down at the beginning of the contract. So now they'll have the final 6 years of that contract where he'll be fine maybe. But to sit there and go, I am not going to give a guy a long-term deal, then you're not going to get the best pitchers out there. And for Met fans dreaming about Tarek Skubal, you don't think that Tarek Skubal is going to get an ultra long-term deal? Look at what Boras got Cole. He got him a 9-year deal. He's going to want more for Skubal because it's 4 years removed from that. Let's go to Jimmy in Staten Island.
Mike.
What's up, Jim?
Can anybody just – how you doing?
Good.
You know what? To me, don't you just think the Dodgers, whoever they want, are going to get because players are flocking to the Dodgers because of the way they run the organization. They're in the playoffs every year.
Yep.
And if the money's close – every player is going to go there. The Japanese players go there. They defer money. They do whatever. Like you say, I know the Mets have the money, but the Mets don't have the reputation right now that the Dodgers have. I mean, the Dodgers, every year they win that division. They're in the playoffs. So I'm not faulting the Mets if this guy wanted to go to the Dodgers, and to me it looks like he wanted to go to the Dodgers.
That's what I'm feeling, Jim, because I can't sit here and rationally say that Steve Cohen got outbid for a player. I can't. He's listening to Stearns, and I think that players do want to go to the Dodgers. The Dodgers have set it up that it's very player-centric. So every team has a charter flight, right? Every team has a charter flight where the entire organization flies to the next city. You know the Dodgers have 2 charter flights every road trip? One of the flights is just for the players. So when you wait on a charter flight for a team, you've got to wait for the trainers to do all their work. You got to wait for the equipment guys to get the equipment. Do you know that at the end of the game, after the players shower for the Dodgers, they get on a flight, and that flight takes off well before the other flight? Nobody is spending that money. No other organization is doing that. I think it costs the Dodgers $6 or $7 million more dollars than it would, to just have one flight. And they think it's worth it. So they're selling that sort of player-friendly stuff to people, and players want to get rings. And not only they have a good chance to get a ring with the Dodgers, the weather is great. There's a chance they get a ring, and they can outbid anybody as well. It's a really strong combination. It's a really, really strong combination, and that's why I really believe the next CBA, which expires on December 1st of 2026, the owners are going to want to cap. And it's going to be the owners' 29 owners against the Dodgers, or maybe 28 owners against the Dodgers and Steve Cohen. Pierre in Vegas. Pierre.
Hey, Michael. Hey, big fan.
Thanks, man.
for taking my call.
You got it.
So I think you're spot on with with Diaz not wanting to be with the Mets, and I think Stearns panicked knowing that, and signed Devin Williams, obviously because he has a relationship with him, coached him in Milwaukee, but probably Stearns thinking that that this is going to be it's going to get loud once Diaz leaves. But I think Stearns should have taken his time and potentially he could have gotten or have looked into someone like a Suarez.
I think he might go
a better
for
reliever.
But I think the plan, Pierre, has to be now they go getting Suarez and they will have the 8th and 9th inning locked up. That's what they're going to do. Because I don't think it would be wise to just have Devin close. Devin pitched very well setting up for the Yankees last year, especially down the stretch. He didn't give up a run the whole postseason and the last 9 outings of the regular season. But when he closed, he had problems. He lost the closer job twice. So, they say there's a lot of pressure with the Yankees. You know what? There's a lot of pressure with the Mets, too. Met fans are also demanding. Maybe not as demanding as Yankee fans, but if he blows games early, they're going to boo him. Because he's not Edwin Diaz. He's not Edwin Diaz. Dan in New Jersey. Dan, talk to me.
Hey, Michael. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you. I have a few things to say about this. One, I think baseball desperately needs a salary cap. The Dodgers can't keep doing this. And two, if you're Hal Steinbrenner, I genuinely wonder what the Yankees are doing. I don't know. I'd love Tatis. I think he would be perfect. But if you're going to put financial constraints on the Yankees, which it kind of seems like he does, more than like the Dodgers or the Mets, why has he not evaluated the guy who was spending the money for him? Because I feel like the Yankees right now are in some financial constraints because of the bad contracts that they have. They should have never given Grisham the qualifying offer. I completely agree with you. I thought the eye test said that he was a bad defender last year in center field. And I honestly wouldn't give Bellinger the money because it feels like another DJ LeMahieu situation. What do you think?
Well, I think this falls into the uncomfortable area, Dan, that fans might say that Cashman is not doing a good job. But I don't think the Yankees feel that way. Every single year he puts together a team that has a chance to go to the World Series. And, fans do forget, they went to the World Series 2 years ago. It's not like they're rock bottom. When you talk about constraints, the Mets had a $340 million payroll last year. The Yankees were $320. Now, constraints would be if he says, let's bring it down to $200, $220. He's not going to spend like the Dodgers. He's not going to go over $400 million. And I don't think he's going to outspend the Mets. I just don't think he's running it like a business. The Dodgers, they're printing money because of the Ohtani contract, which essentially is making $2 million a year, and the rest of the money is deferred. So that allows them to do things, and they're making so much money from Japanese companies that want to advertise in the States because of Ohtani. So I think that now Hal probably thinks that Brian's doing a really good job. But you're right, there is some poorly spent money there. There's some poorly spent money. They're still paying LeMahieu, Hicks. Those are dollars that you're not going to get back. And unless they win a World Series in the next 2 years, you can also say that the Stanton contract was not the great contract to acquire because it didn't work out. You traded for a complete player who is now half a player. All he could do is DH. And I think he's terrific. He had a terrific season for the Yankees when he was able to play. He did not have a great postseason, but the year before, he pretty much carried them to the World Series. So, again, one man's constraint is another man's excess. So you look at a $300 million payroll, and even if they want to stay under that, $300 million is more than 27 other teams in baseball are spending. But I'm not here, to defend them. I think Yankee fans look at what the Dodgers are doing and what the Mets have done, and they want their team to do it as well. It's the rules of engagement are different. It's a family-owned business with investors. Steve Cohen owns 95% of the Mets by himself. The other 5% still belongs to the Wilpons. And the Guggenheim partners, there's no limit to the money they could spend. This is a line on a ledger sheet for them. I mean, with the taxes last year, they almost spent out $440 million when you put the taxes on. So for every dollar they spend, it's 100% tax. So they just signed Edwin Diaz for $69 million over 3 years. That means that's essentially $138 million they spent on Edwin Diaz. Double the money they spend. That's what it is with the tax. And they don't care. They don't care. It does not even fluster them. All right, we got people at ESPN down in Orlando. If anything breaks at the winter meetings, other than now the Diaz and Schwarber stuff, we're all over it. We're monitoring it. We'll talk some football in a moment with Marcus Spears. Get right back to your phone calls. Everybody that's on hold, I'll try to get to everybody. I know Yankee fans want to talk about what they're looking at in action, and I mean that as one word. But I wouldn't say don't worry. I would say don't worry, because even when the winter meetings end tomorrow, you have until the end of February to make your deals. It's slow moving. It doesn't mean it has to be done in Orlando. Judge what each team does when they report to spring training, the team that they have then. That's the best way that I could tell you. Hey, the ESPN New York holiday party is almost here. This show, The Michael K. Show, and Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg are bringing the holiday cheer at your mother's house in Garden City Park, Long Island, this Friday, December 12th. We're once again collecting unwrapped toy donations this year to benefit the Garden of Dreams Foundation. It all kicks off at 1 p.m. this Friday, December 12th, at your mother's house. For more info and to purchase VIP access, check out the ESPN New York app. It's brought to you by Amazon Pickup, Security Dodge, and Spiked Aid, made for big city social stamina. All right. Marcus Spears joins us in just a moment. What a great Monday Night Football game last night. Just terrific. Ended in overtime. A big win for the Chargers. Third straight loss for the Eagles. We'll talk about all of it, including the Giants and the Jets. And don't forget, we'll get right back to baseball as well. It's the K Show right here on ESPN New York.
Tuesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Will the Yankees or Mets make any moves during the winter meetings?
Like, this is not the time to be shy. For the Yankees, now is the time.
Right, got it.
Everything you do now should be strictly to help Aaron Judge over the next couple of years win a championship. That's it. Period. Stop.
Will Karl Anthony Towns be available for the Knicks tonight in the NBA Cup? Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
The Hess stock car racers are loaded with lights, sounds, and a powerful racing motor. Only at HessToyTruck.com. Free shipping and batteries included.
Make cancer screening a part of your annual healthcare routine. New York Presbyterian offers a full range of cancer screenings, including lung, cervical, prostate, colorectal, breast, and more. Regular cancer screenings could save your life by detecting cancer at its earliest, most treatable stages. Screenings are available across New York City and Westchester. Learn more at nyp.org/cancer screening. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian.
Discover a driving experience crafted to inspire. At Garden City Mazda, exceptional design and sophisticated performance come together during the Mazda More to Move You sales event. Lease the 2025 Mazda CX-5 for just $229 a month at Garden City Mazda.
At Uline, they know going the extra mile takes hard work. For companies pushing to go further, Uline will go the distance with you. 24/7, they answer the phone to get you the shipping and industrial supplies you need. Business can move fast. Unexpected large orders, adverse weather, new safety guidelines, and changing economic trends. Uline works hard keeping 41,000 items ready to ship, minimizing detours on your way to the extra mile. Visit uline.com.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
For over 100 years, Sloman's has been your trusted partner in comfort. When it comes to home heating oil, we deliver more than just quality fuel. We deliver peace of mind. With price protection, automatic deliveries, 24/7 service, and up to 30 days to pay your invoice. Our dedicated team is just a call away, ensuring you stay warm and comfortable all winter long. Sloman's, New York and New Jersey's largest heating oil provider, proudly serving our community for generations. Give us a call today at 866-GET-HEAT or visit oil.slomans.com.
Listen up, football fans. Why it's never ordinary at Bet365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. TNCs apply. In-app only.
Dave Rothenberg here to tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. Now, they converted my kids' bathtub to a shower and did an incredible, really an unbelievable job. They offer all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit done in just one day. Durable and easy to clean with no demo or mess and lower cost than a standard replacement. And a lifetime guarantee. Right now, no money down, no payments, no interest until 2027. So start designing your bath today like we did at bathfitter.com. There's only one Bath Fitter.
Clinton Yates here, and the holidays are upon us, full of gatherings, toasts, and plenty of cheer. And if you're like me, you want every moment to shine. That's why I head to Total Wine & More, where you'll find it all at the lowest prices, from rich whiskeys and smooth tequilas to festive liqueurs and elegant champagnes. And if you're not sure what to grab, their guides will help you find bottles that impress. You'll always find what you love and love what you find, only at Total Wine & More. Spirits not sold in Virginia and North Carolina. Drink responsibly. B21.
Your ambition just met its match with Robinhood. Trade stocks and ETFs, options, futures, and crypto all on one platform. Get started today at Robinhood.com/yourmoney. Your money, your move. All investments involve risk, including loss of principal. Options, futures, and crypto trading carry significant risk and may not suit all investors. Securities offered through Robinhood Financial LLC, member SIPC. Futures trading is offered by Robinhood Derivatives LLC, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Crypto offered through Robinhood Crypto LLC, NMLS ID 1702840, not FDIC or SIPC protected. Portfolio management offered by Robinhood Strategies, an SEC registered advisor.
Welcome back to the show. As I mentioned going into break, what a terrific Monday Night Football game last night. Chargers and Eagles. Chargers win in overtime. 4 interceptions by Jalen Hurts, and the Eagles have lost 3 in a row, but still in that division, they're in pretty good shape. Let's bring in our good friend Marcus Spears, who was on the pregame show from L.A., and he joins us now on this show. Hey, Marcus, how you doing?
Mike, what's up, brother? How you doing?
I'm doing all right. What do you think is wrong with the Eagles? What's wrong with Hurts?
A very vanilla offense, no nuance to it. They rely on talent a tremendous amount, and I think there needs to be some upgrade philosophically in what they do from an offensive standpoint. You think about it, the only thing in that game offensively that caught the Chargers off guard was a fake tush push toss to Saquon Barkley. That went for 50-plus yards. It's not hard to see if you've been around football for so long that they pretty much just line up in shotgun. They run straight routes and hope AJ or Devontae wins. And, look, they got a tremendous amount of talent, so it works out better than it would for most teams. But there's nothing about Philadelphia's offense that puts you in conflict. You watch a couple years ago when they were making a run to a Super Bowl, or even last year, you had the threat of Jalen Hurts' legs in the backfield. You had some RPO stuff with him and Saquon Barkley. The offensive line obviously been banged up this year, in and out. Lane Johnson missing is a big deal. Got guys playing different positions. Jason Kelce is no longer there. Juergens is, trying to do what he does. But with all of that being said, they still had opportunities to win that game last night. The turnovers were crushing for them moving the ball down the field. And then the drop by A.J., I'm not putting it on a single play, but A.J. makes that play 9 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
It's just the things that work for them even when they're not playing well didn't work last night. And they need some nuance to their offense. I've been saying it all season long. Multiple people have been. I'm not a guru. You can look at the games and see that, you just stand Jalen in shotgun. And Jalen is not an anticipatory thrower. So he wants to see things become wide open, which is very difficult when you're in shotgun.
Now, you mentioned their offensive line, which is beaten up. Troy Aikman during the game yesterday said he wouldn't be surprised if they called Jason Kelce. Now, he hasn't played in a couple of years, and you work with him all the time. Do you think he would consider going back?
I know he loves Philly, and I know he loves the Eagles. I'm not sure. Jason just has a lot going on outside of football, but if they called him for the last few weeks, I know he's still in shape. He still works out. Excuse me, Mike. So I think it's something that he will mull over, but I just don't see it based on the fun that we have in right now and the things that we do off camera. But you know, that's neither here nor there. Phillip Rivers might be playing for the Colts in a couple of days, so anything can happen.
Well, you're reading my mind. I was going to ask you. The guy's a grandfather. Hasn't played in 5 years. He's eligible for the Hall of Fame. Do you think it makes any sense for them to work him out? He's 44 years old.
I don't. But who am I, right, to say that? I think being out of this game for 5 years almost and not getting those reps and the speed of the game and coming into a team that, you know, obviously thinks that they can be a playoff contender. There's just a lot of things, to me, working against Phillip Rivers having success. And I know him and Steichen has a really good relationship. I know he understands this offense, but understanding the offense and knowing where to go with the ball doesn't change the fact that you have Seattle defense, San Francisco, Jacksonville, and not to mention Week 18, the monsters of the South in the Houston Texans. So I wouldn't want to be 44 standing in the pocket against those defenses.
Now, we have Steve Young on with us every Monday, Marcus, and he always says if you're a quarterback and your arm is intact, you could play until you're 48 years old. He said the whole sport is tailored for quarterbacks. He said the guys that ended up leaving, Peyton Manning left because he couldn't throw anymore. He said Tom Brady just left because, I mean, what else was there for him to do? But he feels that if you can throw, you're going to be protected. All the rules are in your favor. Do you agree?
I vehemently disagree. The variables in football is that at any given time, 4 to 7 people are coming to hit you. Mm-hmm. And I know you protected. We watched Justin Herbert play with a broken hand last night. We watched Aaron Rodgers break his hand. We've watched Lamar Jackson miss time from hamstrings and ankles trying to get out of the pocket and move. We've seen just Brock Purdy has been out majority of the year. Like I get it. Like it's cool to talk about. And Steve Young is a quarterback very highly respected. I got a lot of respect for Steve, but Steve know damn well at 44 it's hard to play this position. And Tom Brady left because he got tired of getting hit. Right. That's why Tom Brady retired. So again, like I understand like the premise, and it's so cool to talk about, and everybody has this idea that they protected. You're not protected in football. Obviously, the rules and all of that about how you hit quarterbacks and all of that type of stuff is in place. But, Mike, they still get hurt every single week getting hit. We watch it happen every single week. So I just don't – disagree wholeheartedly. Danielle Hunter and Will Anderson, the defensive ends from the Houston Texans, are not going to stop when they get close to the quarterback. They're going to hit him. And you can't control that throughout a 4-quarter game.
Now, are you surprised? Because I felt like that when he was with the Jets last year, that Rodgers was able to reach back and have a game like he had against the Ravens. You know, at his age, he's 42 now. He played pretty well.
Yeah, played pretty well. I don't think I just don't know if you find that consistency. But the Ravens have no pass rush. That's number one. It helped them tremendously. They made a decision to get the ball out of his hands, and the Ravens defense played into a lot of what they needed. Downfield one-on-ones. You saw a lot of one-on-ones with DK Metcalf. Calvin Austin caught a one-on-one down the field. He threw a quick out to the running back that ended up to Jaylen Warren, that ended up going for a touchdown. Aaron Rodgers, he showed he can run still a little bit. Got outside the pocket on that red zone play and scored a touchdown. I think he can have those one-offs. But what the season tells us is that it can be consistent. Now, can he do it down the stretch consistently? Maybe so. But you're not playing the Ravens. You're not playing the Ravens defense every week. And look, again, the variables of what this league is from time to time, man. Like look, Jaden Daniels is one of the most athletic quarterbacks in the NFL. Jaden Daniels has missed an inordinate amount of time from injury. Joe Burrow, great pocket passer, throws it as well as anybody, plays at a higher level than anybody. Has missed 3 of the 6 years he's been in the league almost.
Mm-hmm.
Jalen Hurts has missed time. So again, Mike, it's one of them things, man, where when you get up in age, there's a reason why this league tries to find young. And I still believe that Tom Brady has everybody discombobulated about how long you can play this game. And Matthew Stafford is playing at a high level at 37, but that's not an anomaly. We've seen guys play into their late 30s very well. But, man, it's just a rarity. And I feel like we want to make this rarity a normalcy, and it's not. It's never going to be. You may have a one-off or 2 guys that do it, which is going to make everybody react like everybody can do it. If everybody could do it, Steve Young would still be playing.
You're right. Now, before I let you go, I have never been there, and I saw you there yesterday. SoFi Stadium looks to me to be the best. Is it that great in person?
It is magnificent, man. It's like I think I'm going to start calling it a botanical garden with a football field in the middle of it. The structure is beautiful. The location is phenomenal. It's open and closed, if you could imagine that. It's new, so everything is still clean and real tidy. I like the stadium a lot, and we're gonna have the Super Bowl next year there with ESPN, which I'm looking forward to spending a lot of time there. And then it's Cali. Okay, Mike, we pulled up yesterday. It was 70-something degrees. The sun was shining, and we had just came from Foxborough. Not to knock anything in the Northeast, but I would much rather be on the West Coast at this time of the year than in the Northeast. And then you go to a beautiful stadium, and with myself, they got great food as well. So that's a plus.
I also have to know the rest of the season, your wife picking out your clothes, because I saw the beginning of the show yesterday. You said she picked out that green blazer.
She did pick out the green blazer, man. I don't know if she's gonna pick it out the rest of the season. She picked out a great outfit. I just realized once I got there, it looked like we were going for the Eagles.
Right.
We didn't think about the green matching up with Philly, which is something that I absolutely never want to do or give the impression of. But the suit did look good, and she got a lot of fashion sense, man. I got to give it to her.
There you go. Let her do it, man.
Maybe so. If I walk out looking bad, she'll change it.
All right. Good stuff. I know you're probably exhausted, so thanks for joining us.
All love, Mike. Appreciate it, brother.
You got it. That's Marcus Spears of ESPN. 1-800-919-3776. We'll hear from David Stearns, the Mets GM, on the supposed Lindor Soto disconnect. So the Met GM had something to say about that. That's coming up in just a moment right here on the K Show, ESPN New York.
Finding great candidates to hire can be like, trying to find a needle in a haystack. Sure, you can post your job to some job board, but then all you can do is hope the right person comes along, which is why you should try ZipRecruiter for free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter doesn't depend on candidates finding you. It finds them for you. Its powerful technology identifies people with the right experience and actively invites them to apply to your job. You get qualified candidates fast. So while other companies might deliver a lot of hay, ZipRecruiter finds you what you're looking for. The needle in the haystack.
See why 4 out of 5 employers who post a job on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire. And right now, you can try ZipRecruiter for free. That's right, free at ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. That's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. ZipRecruiter.
Some stages celebrate. This one tests everything. Every drive, every approach, every putt. Pressure builds, resilience matters, and history waits for the bold. In June, the 2026 U.S. Open Championship returns to the Hamptons at the iconic Shinnecock Hills Golf Club. Experience the world's best golfers competing on one of the sport's most storied stages. Don't just watch greatness, experience it live at the 126th U.S. Open. Daily tickets are available now on SeatGeek.
Listen up, New York. It's football season, and you should be out there enjoying every play, every tailgate, every moment. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, joint pain, or sciatica, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. That's where Dr. J. Shaw at Sandwell Pain comes in. He's one of New Jersey's top pain specialists, Ivy League trained, double board certified, and dedicated to getting you back in the game. Here's the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical, image-guided procedures that get real results. Dr. Shaw treats everything from neck pain, back pain, migraines, nerve pain, and chronic joint pain. And he builds a custom game plan that's right for you. Same-day or next-day appointments are available with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood. And yes, most major insurances are accepted. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Go to SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
Dave Rothenberg here to tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. Now, they converted my kids' bathtub to a shower and did an incredible, really an unbelievable job. They offer all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit done in just one day. Durable and easy to clean with no demo or mess and lower cost than a standard replacement. And a lifetime guarantee. Right now, no money down, no payments, no interest until 2027. So start designing your bath today like we did at bathfitter.com. There's only one Bath Fitter.
New York Lottery's holiday scratch-off games are the perfect gift for everyone on your list.
Like me, your Aunt Jules. I told you I didn't need a gift this year, but I secretly really want one.
Or me, your neighbor Frank. I hope you didn't forget I'm coming to your holiday party tonight.
Or me. Why does no one ever think of the voiceover guy? Anyway, New York Lottery's holiday scratch-off games have more winners and top prizes up to $5,000. Please play responsibly. Must be 18 plus. Gambling problem? Call 1-877-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY.
Empower. Jen has ordered a decadent seafood tower, king crab legs, lobster tails, and a waterfall of caviar. Pricey? You bet. But Jen worked with Empower on her savings and investment strategy and planned for splurges like these. She got good at money, so she can be a little bad. Ooh, champagne. Empower. Invest well, live a little. Start today at empower.com.
Past performance is not indicative of future returns. Investing involves risk. You may lose money. Advisory services are provided for a fee by Empower Advisory Group, LLC, EAG, a registered investment advisor with the Securities and Exchange Commission. OMG, those shrimps are really jumbo.
Getting more as a MyLowe's Pro Rewards member is easier than ever with the Lowe's app. Download it today and earn 500 points the first time you log in. Plus, your digital wallet helps you scan, save, earn, and access what you need to manage it all in one place. Download the Lowe's app and take advantage of your Pro benefits today. Lowe's, we help, you save. Valid 12/1/25 through 1/7/26. Offer valid for first login per organization only. Loyalty program subject to terms and conditions. Additional restrictions apply. Visit Lowe's.com/terms for more details. Subject to change.
You live for this. The wins, the losses, the slam dunks, and the buzzer beaters. The dream that this is your team's year. Hope, it's what keeps you coming back. So you represent with anticipation and with pride. Because when everything's on the line, your support means everything. That's why the NBA Store is here to support you. Check out the largest selection of official NBA gear at NBAstore.com. A Fanatics experience.
Well, Game Time brought to you by Tullamore Dew Irish Whiskey, because when it's game time, it's Tully time. 7 p.m. on the ice, the Islanders host the Golden Knights at UBS Arena, and the Devils are in Ottawa to play the Senators. Don LaGreca will be on the call. 8:30 p.m., the Knicks are in Toronto for a big NBA Cup quarterfinals game against the Raptors. No McBride, and up in the air, Karl Anthony Towns. Coverage starts at 8 p.m. right here on 880 ESPN. Tullamore Dew, the original triple distilled, triple blended, triple cask matured Irish whiskey. Be sure to grab a Tullamore Dew. Try the new Tullamore Dew Honey during today's action. Glass up to enjoying Tullamore Dew responsibly. So we're talking about the Mets letting Edwin Diaz sign with the Dodgers. And I said there's many layers to this. So all that we know for sure, according to what's being reported, the Dodgers gave him $69 million for 3 years. So that's $23 million a year. So he set a new average annual value for a relief pitcher. The Mets came in at 3 years, $66 million, and there was supposedly, according to Joel Sherman of the Post, room to move, which means they would have gone up. And some of that was deferred as well. But the one thing that we have to take into account, you can't crush the Mets for not spending the money just yet. Because maybe Diaz didn't want to play for them anymore. Maybe he just wanted to play for the Dodgers. Because if a guy wants to go somewhere else, then he wants to go somewhere else. There's nothing you could do to make him stay. And you could say, well, offer him $75 million, make it $25 a year. Does he stay? And then do you look really bad that he left despite you blowing the other offer out of the water? Now, does he not like the room? Does he not like the clubhouse? Let's listen to David Stearns, the Mets president of baseball operations, talking about the Lindor-Soto reported disconnect. Here's Stearns.
I think Juan and Francisco are two elite baseball players who care a ton about winning, who show up and work incredibly hard, and play very well together. And from my perspective, that's what's most important. And they go out and produce, and I think they're going to help us win a lot of games.
And I agree with Stearns. Baseball players don't have to get along. They don't have to get along. It is the one sport where you're rewarded for being selfish. And by that, I mean, all you have to do is go out and get your hits. If you're a pitcher, go out and get your outs. Doesn't matter if you like the first baseman, the third baseman, or not. But they did their jobs last year. But did it make other people in that room uncomfortable? Did it become toxic where Edwin Diaz said, you know what, I'm out. I'm good. I'm going to go to the Dodgers, try to win the third championship in a row. I want a ring. Remember, Juan Soto said he went to the Mets because he thought that for the long haul, they were better situated than the Yankees. Well, maybe Diaz went to the Dodgers because he thinks they're better situated than the Mets. Remember, when Steve Cohen was hunting down David Stearns, he wanted to build Dodgers East. Well, now he just got Dodgered. He just got Dodgered. Now, Scott Boras, who represents many, but to Yankee fans, you know, they care that he represents Cody Bellinger. This was earlier today, and I've spoken about this in the past, so this is not breaking new ground. What Scott Boras does with the little limericks that he comes up with, it's so cringe. It really is. He's better than that. He doesn't need to do it because talent sells itself. You don't have to make up limericks in order to get people to bid on your player. But he was asked about Bellinger's market, right? This is what he said. It's not for me to judge, but great players see red if they have a big bat yanked out of their lineup. I haven't met a team that dodges a five-tool player. To fill the center field need is a giant step toward the playoffs. North and South outfielders that fly with power, they're rare birds. In the offseason, there's a lot of startup to organizations. And for that reason, there's a lot of angel investors that are looking for very versatile outfielders. So other than that, Belly doesn't have much interest. So let's read between the silly lines. He's saying that Judge wants Bellinger back. He's saying the Reds are interested. I can't believe that. The Mets are interested. The Dodgers, the Phillies, the Giants, the Orioles, and the Angels. I would get if I was talking to Scott right now, and this is just me talking, with Brian Cashman saying yesterday how the team's too left-handed, if you're going to get cute and create a mega market for Bellinger, I would not be surprised if the Yankees tap out. I wouldn't be surprised. So you could play these games, and if Cody really wants to go back to the Yankees, these games don't affect anybody. So he's telling this to the media, so the media will print it or say it on the radio, and then that scares the GMs. I think GMs are smarter than us, and they don't get played like this. But again, if all of those people, you know, he's talking about Bellinger might be better than Kyle Tucker. He's got hinted at that, and he wants a contract commensurate to what Tucker's getting. Tucker's going to get over $400 million, maybe. If he's looking for that from Bellinger, a lot of the teams that were mentioned in that silly cringe limerick, they're going to tap out. I'm telling you, they're going to tap out. They really are. So he better watch how he's playing this because I think that some of the interests might be nebulous at best. Let's go to Julian in Virginia. Julian.
Hey, Michael K. How you doing today?
Good. How are you?
I'm doing well. Before I get to my question, I, as somebody who lives currently in Harrisonburg, Virginia, just want to give a shout out to James Madison University on the CFP. Even though I'm a UVA fan, it's cool getting to live in the city and get the buzz from all that. But anyways, my question is, what about the Yankees making a trade with the Nationals for Mackenzie Gore, who has 2 years left, and maybe even as a throw-in, try to get their catcher Riley Adams since he's right-handed? What are your thoughts, Michael?
Well, I think that they would be interested in Gore, and I think a lot of teams would be very, very interested in Gore, and people are interested in C.J. Abrams as well. So I think the Nationals are in business. Now, another thing that I have come out and talked about for about a month now is the possible pursuit of Fernando Tatis Jr. And I was reading in the Athletic today, the Padres are open for business. They've got to cut payroll. They're trying to add starters, and if they're going to cut payroll, the one movable big contract they have belongs to Fernando Tatis Jr. Bogart's unmovable. Darvish is hurt, unmovable. All likelihood because of the length of the contract. Machado is unmovable. So that's something that I would look into. That is something I would look into. Let's go to a right-handed bat. You said you two left-handed. Fernando Tatis Jr. is an unbelievable athlete. And although, he might be a little out there, I have unbelievable trust in what Aaron Judge does in that room. How he could get everybody pulling the rope in the same direction. He's an unbelievable leader. He really is. Frank in San Jose. Frank.
Hi, Mike.
Hey, Frank.
Hey, man. I want to talk about Aaron Boone.
Okay.
I'm not happy about his past few years because he lets too many young players deteriorate. I mean, we've had injuries to a lot of these guys, like Greg Bird, and Gary Sanchez just went down the drain, and Miguel Andujar went down the drain. Domingo Germán had his problems. Clint Frazier went down the drain quick. Luke Voigt went down the drain quick. Aaron Hicks collapsed. I don't see there's any intensity from him to get these guys elevated to higher levels enough.
Well, why isn't it the player's fault? And Gary Sanchez was on Joe Girardi. It wasn't on Aaron Boone.
Yeah.
Well, why
Aaron
is it?
Boone could have stepped it up.
But why is it not on the players, Frank? Aren't they? They're the ones that are paid to perform.
Yeah, but there's no intensity in those guys, and it starts at the top.
Well, what do you mean intensity? How does that manifest itself? What do you mean there's no intensity? They went to the World Series 2 years ago.
Yeah, but look at this. The L Cup was the last one before it. Aaron Judge is a great player, but you don't drop a ball like that without,
So that's that.
Gotta bother.
But Frank, that's on Aaron Boone that he dropped the ball in center field in the 5th inning of Game 5. Come on, man. There
was a lot of other errors in that game too.
Okay, but again, listen. Do I think that that Aaron Boone is the second coming of Casey Stengel? No, I think he's a pretty good manager, and sometimes players have to take accountability. Players screw up. You want to blame them for some things? You could blame them for some things, but the bottom line is blame the players too if they don't execute. Aaron Judge, who is a really good outfielder, drops a ball in center field, and you're going to put that on Aaron Boone? I mean, you lost me. You lost me there. I mean, what can I even say to that? That's Aaron Boone's fault? Amazing. FanDuel is the #1 sportsbook for same-game parlays, from points and rebounds to threes and assists. FanDuel is the best place to combine your favorite picks into a same-game parlay or track every stat live, all in one easy-to-use app. And right now is the perfect time to join because new customers get $150 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. So bet on the players you love the way you want. Head to FanDuel.com/K to sign up today. FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NBA. 21 plus and physically present in New York. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. For help with a gambling problem, call 1-877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369.
Tuesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Will the Yankees or Mets make any moves during the winter meetings?
Like, this is not the time to be shy. For the Yankees, now is the time.
Right, got it.
Everything you do now should be strictly to help Aaron Judge over the next couple of years win a championship. That's it. Period. Stop.
Will Karl Anthony Towns be available for the Knicks tonight in the NBA Cup? Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
If you've been injured in an accident that wasn't your fault, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique personal injury and workers' compensation laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling all types of accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for injured New Yorkers. From construction to car accidents and slips and falls, they've got you covered. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS, where your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Hey, New York and New Jersey, Boost Mobile has an unlimited talk, text, and data plan that's only $25 a month forever, meaning you'll only ever pay $25 a month for the rest of your life. Who wouldn't want unlimited wireless when it only costs $25 a month forever? If you don't, you must be one of those people who enjoy overpaying for their phone plan. $25 a month forever is truly as good as it gets, so go online and switch now at boostmobile.com. After 30 gigabytes, customers may experience slower speeds. Customers will pay $25 a month as long as they remain active on the Boost Mobile Unlimited plan.
880 ESPN, WHSQ, and WCBS-FM HD2, New York. A Good Karma Brands radio station.
At Uline, they know firsthand the road to success is an uphill climb. Uline started in the family basement, and through hard work is now North America's most trusted shipping and industrial supplier. They get what it means to have the support of reliable, hardworking partners. So they keep 41,000 items ready to ship. Whether your company is still in a basement office or expanding cross-country, Uline will be there on your road to success. Visit uline.com.
For over 100 years, Slomin's has been your trusted partner in comfort. When it comes to home heating oil, we deliver more than just quality fuel. We deliver peace of mind. With price protection, automatic deliveries, 24/7 service, and up to 30 days to pay your invoice. Our dedicated team is just a call away, ensuring you stay warm and comfortable all winter long. Slomin's, New York and New Jersey's largest heating oil provider, proudly serving our community for generations. Give us a call today at 866-GET-HEAT or visit oil.slomins.com.
New York Presbyterian treats more heart patients than any other hospital in New York. From common to complex conditions, our cardiologists and heart surgeons are pioneers in advanced heart care, leading the way in minimally invasive treatments for faster recovery times. Find a doctor at nyp.org/heart. Stay amazing. New York Presbyterian. New York Presbyterian Hospital based on U.S. News and World Report 2025 to 2026 Cardiology, Heart, and Vascular Surgery Rankings.
Progressive presents Employee of the Month. Small Business Edition. Today's recipient from Lucky Larry's Landscaping, Larry! Larry saved his business money with a quick commercial auto quote from Progressive. Does it help he's his own marketing manager, accountant, executive assistant, and never been late? Technically, yes, but saving really put him over the edge. So, Larry, give Larry a round of applause. Be your own Larry. See if you could save in as little as 8 minutes at ProgressiveCommercial.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Hey, fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so like everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are like so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. Michael K. with you until 3. At that time, Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. We are joined right now by Paul Finebaum. And Paul Finebaum Report is brought to you by Bet365. And Paul, I know you want to know the Yankees still haven't done anything at the winter meetings. If it happens when we're talking, I will break in and tell you, okay?
That is the only thing I want to know right now. It's great to be on, Michael.
You got it. Notre Dame's getting a lot of heat from a lot of people, different precincts. Is it warranted?
I think it is. First of all, they didn't really merit being in the playoff because they lost head-to-head to Miami. I know that's been discussed. But what they've done since then is just absolutely embarrassing and unbecoming of a school like Notre Dame who, until recently, set the standard. For them, number one, to say we're too good to be in a bowl game, whether that's a shot at ESPN, who was broadcasting the bowl game, or anyone else, I don't know. But what they lost out of that were 15 practices for the young players, which are very important because they need extra practice if they're going to make a contribution. And on top of that, the threats about the ACC. I have rarely, if ever, seen a college institution act as petulant and as disgraceful as I have watching Notre Dame the last 48 hours.
Were you surprised when they came out and said that when they expand the field, if they're 12th or better, that they're in, that it's an automatic bid for them?
That has been part of the system for a long time, and for whatever reason, the people in that room, mainly conference commissioners, try to protect Notre Dame for the wrong reason. They try to protect them because they're not in a conference, and they believe Notre Dame deserves some special treatment. I don't believe that. And it's their own fault. They can be in a conference. And by the way, Michael, not to get too deep in the weeds, but in 2020 during COVID, Notre Dame, which is in 24 different sports, a member of the ACC, joined the ACC for 1 year to be in the football because they couldn't schedule anybody otherwise because everybody was only playing conference games. They made it to the championship game. They made it to the CFP, and now they're too good for the ACC and everyone else.
So the one question I have about the rankings, though, Paul, it does make sense to me. How was Notre Dame ahead of Miami, and then neither one of them played a game, and then Miami flipped over Notre Dame? I know that obviously they beat them earlier, but for the last 5 weeks they were rated above them. Why did Miami get the call and not Notre Dame? What happened in that time? I kept reading that the committee watched that game over and over again, but that game's been available for whenever they want to see it.
Yeah, well, they didn't realize. Apparently, the committee didn't realize Notre Dame had lost that game on August 31st until the last weekend. That's the problem, and I hope nobody from ESPN is listening. But the problem is these Tuesday night shows are a charade because they're giving you a snapshot in time. And then on the final weekend, they factor in everything, which they should be factoring in all along. I don't know why somebody in that committee the week before is saying to themselves, hey, listen, if we end up making a decision on Notre Dame Miami after we watch that game again from 3.5 months ago, we are going to look very stupid. But apparently nobody on the committee ever stops to think how utterly dumb they are going to look when the final bout. This is not the first time that's happened. It's happened before where they flip-flopped something and had no way they could explain it.
Do you think they have a legitimate beef, though, Paul, when it comes to why is Alabama in and not us, when Alabama really has been leaking oil for about 5 weeks and they ended up losing in the conference title game? And the one thing that jumps out at me, Paul, these conference title games, they're simply money grabs and television vehicles because they don't seem like they mean anything when it comes to rankings.
Yeah, on Alabama first, they made a mistake a week ago by elevating Alabama or letting Alabama remain after the win over Auburn. I mean, Auburn's terrible.
Right.
They barely won. They barely won the game. And then the committee chairman came out there and said, well, that's really a tough place to play. Not really, considering Kentucky and Missouri beat Auburn on its home field this year, as did everybody else. So once again, the committee didn't think because you got 12 people in a room and they're all trying to be collegial, which, by the way, doesn't happen in professional sports, but for whatever reason in college, everybody wants to get along and sing Kumbaya. As far as the real question of these conference championship games, no, they're meaningless. I was on the field doing a show leading into the SEC game. It's one of the biggest games of the year in college football, and there was no vibe. It was just an exhibition. All people were talking about was either Lane Kiffin or where would the CFP end up putting the schools. In Indianapolis, you had a 1 versus 2 game in the Big Ten, and I know if you're an Indiana fan, you don't want to hear what I'm about to say, but truly nobody cared who won that game either.
Right.
It was either winner of the game gets a Big Ten championship. Now, if you're Indiana, you've never had that, or you haven't had it in 100 years. But Ohio State's fine. They lost the game. They should have won it. They missed a field goal. They missed a bunch of plays. So they get the second seed versus the first seed. That's the only difference.
Why has it been, we both are employed by ESPN. Why are they being portrayed as the bad guy here?
Well, they're easy to blame, and partly because they are in bed with the ACC and the SEC, and they have no affiliation with the Big Ten or really Notre Dame. Well, they have a slight affiliation with Notre Dame because of the ACC. They do the home games in the ACC. But the easiest thing in the world is just to say SEC bias, ESPN bias, and I don't want to come off because I know I'm pretty polarizing, but I can tell you nobody at ESPN tells you what to say. Michael, you know that. I mean, you're affiliated with ESPN. They don't really care. ESPN's probably happy that this controversy is going on because more people are tuning in on the morning shows to see it being discussed, and they're tuning in on Saturday morning to see whatever Nick Saban has to say. But ultimately, the bias crowd is overdone. I get attacked every week for saying that every team in the SEC should get in. Last year, I flat out said on ESPN Alabama didn't belong in, and they didn't. I said they did belong in this year, but the reason that I thought they did, just to get back to that for 1 second, is that they beat Georgia at the end of September. That's a meaningful win. That's the number 3 seed in the tournament. They have a terrible loss against Florida State, and they had to play an extra game where other schools are going to the tournament by not playing in that game. But the real problem is they do look bad. And if they lose to Oklahoma in a week and a half, there'll be more hue and cry about it.
Is this, I think I know the answer. This isn't the best system, Paul. There's got to be a different system. I hate the one where everybody goes, well, let's make it 24 teams. I see with basketball. It goes up to 68 teams, and the 69th and 70th team, they think that they got rooked. Is there a perfect system?
There really isn't, but a way to make it better would be to eliminate the group of 5 schools. Now, who are they? That's James Madison and Tulane.
Right.
They get grandfathered in. Going back a couple of years, Michael, a lot of the conference commissioners would not sign off on the 12-team playoff. They were mad about whatever. And to get them to unanimously agree to it, you had to let one group of 5 team in. This year, 2 got in because the ACC was so bad. And Miami, the best team in the ACC, didn't play in the ACC championship. I can't explain it, but there was a 5-way tiebreaker. So, nobody wants to see Tulane play Ole Miss. They played 9 weeks ago, and Ole Miss won by 30 points. And nobody wants to see James Madison lose to Oregon by 40 points. But we're stuck with 2 of those games because the people that run college athletics allow that. I can't even imagine a parallel in professional sports. I realize you got the wild cards and you got divisional leaders, and in the NFL you got the NFC South, which is usually a crummy team. And there's a reason why you're trying to play for a championship within your division to get a playoff bid. But in college football, there's no explanation for this at all.
Now, we didn't get a chance to talk last week. I had it off that day. Had a colonoscopy, and too much information, but I'm telling you anyway. Does Lane Kiffin look any better over a week now after what he did? Has it sanitized at all?
No, it still is just as bad. By the way, I had one 9 months ago, so my heart's out to you. It's not as bad as it is. You just want to get good news, and when you get good news, you really don't care how bad it is.
Right. The prep is terrible, but the actual procedure, you don't know what's going on, and the news was good. But thank you.
Yeah, Lane Kiffin looks like a cad. He could not look much worse. And now it's come out. Now this is when some of the bias allegations start coming in because a couple of the game day crew, McAfee and Saban, shielded for Lane Kiffin, and then it comes out that they're all represented by the same agent. That doesn't make anybody look good, but that's more on ESPN than Lane Kiffin. In the end, Lane Kiffin not coaching for Ole Miss is going to be a very, very bad look. A number of his coaching staff at LSU are now going to be allowed, but he's the main guy. He leads the school to its biggest moment in 60 years, and he's going to be at a bar in Baton Rouge that night watching the game.
Here's what I don't understand. I know that the people that supported him are represented by Jimmy Sexton. And it seems like whenever anybody gives an opinion, right, that is against what the people listening his opinion is that right away there has to be an agenda. Maybe those guys actually feel that way because I don't understand one thing, Paul. So Jimmy Sexton represents them. Does he run them? He works for them. They can give any opinion they want.
Yeah, Jimmy Sexton, like any agent, whether it's Scott Boras or anybody else, they really care about one thing. They care about getting their client the best deal and whatever percentage they're going to get, which is grandfathered into the agreement. They're not really concerned about the noise. That's irrelevant to them. And I saw Jimmy Sexton at the game Saturday. He didn't look any worse for wear. And he was on the phone the whole time I saw him, which means there are more deals to be made. He represents NFL coaches as well. Saban, I think at 74 years old, probably earned the right to give any opinion he wants. The only my problem with the only thing Saban said, he was defending Lane Kiffin because he could do both jobs. When it is worth pointing out that 10 years ago he fired the same Lane Kiffin because he had a job at Florida Atlantic while he was coaching in the playoffs for Alabama, and he did such a miserable job that Saban fired him a week before the national championship game.
Yeah, that made no sense to me, Paul. And Nick usually is buttoned up with his opinions, but that just didn't jive because if he wasn't prepared to be a coordinator because he had another job. How would he be prepared to be a head coach with another job? I don't know how Nick makes that work.
You can't make it work because he's still the same guy. At 50, he might be a little more mature than he was at 40, but not much. Lane Kiffin is still a child. He's a very good football coach, but I think he just loves all the spotlight. He's enamored with it. But he can't help himself. I joked the other day on one of the shows. He's kind of the Kim Kardashian of college football because we pay so much attention to him, and we have no earthly idea why.
Maybe they'll be keeping up with the Kiffins, reality show.
So.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thanks so much, Paul. I appreciate it. While we were talking, nothing happened with the Yankees, so you're caught up.
Well, let me know because it's about time to win a World Series after all these years.
Okay, you got it. Thank you, Paul. That's Paul
Thanks,
Finebaum.
Michael.
Paul Finebaum Report brought to you by Bet365. Whatever the moment, it's never ordinary at Bet365. All right, so baseball back on the griddle right now. You know the story. If you just tuned in late, Edwin Diaz signs a 3-year, $69 million contract with the Dodgers, leaves the Mets. Being reported, the Mets offered him 3 years, $66 with some deferrals, but where there was movement to move up, according to Joel Sherman of the New York Post, which begs the question, when you have an owner who has $22 billion personal fortune, who's going to spend $8 billion building a casino across the street from Citi Field, how do you let yourself get outbid? Which leads you to think Edwin Diaz didn't want to be here. Had to be that. Because I can't fathom why $1 million a year would come between the Mets keeping one of the best closers in baseball, if not the best closer in baseball, or letting him go to the Dodgers. And it opens up another can of worms, too. The Dodgers will not sit still. They are not content with winning 2 championships in a row. They refuse to take a step back. They continue to run this team with the pedal to the metal. It's relentless. It is relentless what they're doing. Do they add more? Do they go after a Kyle Tucker? Do they go after a Bellinger? It doesn't seem as if they're satisfied. They want to own the sport. And when this happens, and they're able to spend the money that they spend, and there are very few teams that can keep up with them financially, it only makes me think that it's going to be Armageddon next December 1st when the collective bargaining agreement is up. Because I think owners are going to look at that and say, we can't compete with it, and we've got to put some kind of a cap on spending. And agents are going to say, no. That's socialism. Well, you all made your money with capitalism. The players should earn what they're able to earn. But there's only 1 or 2 or 3 places they can earn that. Now, the highest payroll doesn't always guarantee that you're going to win the World Series. In fact, if you watch the World Series, the Blue Jays outplayed the Dodgers for 7 games. But they couldn't score in extra innings, and they lost those 2 games. They lost in the 11th inning of Game 7, and the Dodgers are champions. You can't take anything away from it. But the Blue Jays played better. It doesn't always mean that you have the highest payroll. In fact, the Dodgers, with an exorbitant payroll, actually were a very flawed team. They spent all that money last year on a bullpen, and the bullpen fell flat on its face. But they had all that money invested in the starting rotation, and that picked up the slack. The Dodgers are unrelenting. They are unrelenting. So the Mets, where do they stand now? Do they go after Suarez? Do they go after a starting pitcher? David Stearns has said he doesn't want to give long-term deals to starting pitchers. Well, if you're not going to do that, you're not going to get the best starting pitchers. You're going to try to catch lightning in a bottle. Let's go to the phones. Let's go to John in Bethlehem. What's up, John?
Michael, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. It's freezing here. It's ridiculous.
It's pretty cold here, too.
I know. Crazy. 2 things. Number one, couldn't agree more. Diaz had to have wanted to leave. It just doesn't make any sense otherwise, unless we're completely misreading the tea leaves. It just doesn't make sense any other way. The only other thing I could think about there is, do you think there's any sense of Cohen saying, all right, you make this, like sort of handing it off and saying, Stearns, you make the decision. I'm not going to interfere. Let's see how it works out.
I think he paid so much money for Stearns and waited a whole year to get him, John, but he didn't do that last year because Stearns would not have signed Soto. That was definitely Cohen, and Stearns would not have re-signed Alonso. That was definitely Cohen. So now Cohen's going to wash his hands of it. The one advantage that Steve Cohen has is that he's richer than everybody else. And if you're going to take that advantage away from him, then it doesn't make sense what David Stearns is doing. You're handcuffing the most important aspect of Steve Cohen's ownership. I knew last year he was not going to be outbid for Soto. If the Yankees went up $20 million, he was going to go up $30. If they went up another $20 million, he was going to go up $40. He was not going to be outbid. The only way that Soto was going to return to the Yankees was if he simply wanted to return to the Yankees. That's the only way. He was not going to be outbid. But now he gets outbid for Edwin Diaz. So do the Mets know something about Diaz that we don't know? Or does Diaz not just want to be a Met? Or did it come down to the fact that Stearns said, we've got to have some fiscal responsibility. We cannot overpay everybody. It's going to come back and haunt us. Maybe he changed the way Stearns thinks or the way Cohen thinks. Let's go to Kevin in New Jersey. Kevin, talk to me.
Hey, Michael. How's it going?
Good. How are you?
I had a question. I was watching this guy on YouTube, The Shift. Shout out to him. And he brought up a good point that I kind of want to come, and put on the table with you. What are your thoughts on the Dodgers signing Edwin Diaz and how their spending affects competitive balance across the league? With their payroll already so high, what's realistically stopping them from pursuing someone like Kyle Tucker or Cody Bellinger, even though they non-tendered him? Wouldn't you think if the money was right, these players are going to pick up these teams, and it just kind of, especially when these smaller market teams can't keep up,
Well, you know
Thank
what? I don't think there's anything that you could do about it. They're playing within the rules and not doing anything wrong. They don't care if they lose money, and I don't think they're losing money, and they will spend anything to get the players that they want. They are a behemoth in the sport. And you know what? I blame the owners. They voted them in. They could have said no, but they said, franchise values are going to go high when a big corporation like Guggenheim Partners, buys a team. Same thing with Steve Cohen. They didn't have to let Steve Cohen in. They didn't have to let him in, but you let in the big bad bear who's willing to spend anything, but not on Edwin Diaz. So, listen, Dodgers are doing nothing wrong. They're playing within the rules, and I think that's why there is going to be Armageddon where the rules are going to be attempted to be changed. They're going to do everything they possibly can to try and change the rules. Because there are teams, you're saying competitive balance. I am not of the opinion that the highest payroll always wins. I'm not. The Blue Jays had the 5th highest payroll, and they play better than the Dodgers in the World Series. And if you really want to be nervous, don't just look at Cohen and Guggenheim Partners as teams that could spend anything. So can the Blue Jays. They own all of cable television in the entire country of Canada. They might have more money than Steve Cohen. And they've always tried to spend money. Always. But players had some trepidation about playing for the Blue Jays. Now, they don't. They saw what the Blue Jays did. The ballpark's a beautiful ballpark. When you sign with a Canadian team, though, it's going to be a situation where you're going to have to deal with customs, 15, 20 times a year. Nobody likes that. But bottom line is people, once they get there, they like playing there. They like playing there. Let's go to Eric in Long Beach. Eric.
Hey, Mike. How you doing?
Good. How are you, Eric?
Good. Thanks for taking the call. I just wanted to talk about, I'm a Yankee fan, but the Dodgers are just running circles around all the other teams. Not only have they figured out a way to, with their flexibility in their payroll to make it work, their major league team is better than everybody. They have one of the top minor league systems. They basically have just they said, this is our time. We are pushing everything to the center, and they are doing it smarter and better than all the other teams. And now the other teams like the Yankees and the Mets and everybody else has to try to figure out how to catch up to them because they are just lapping the field.
Well, I mean, money, Eric, plays a big, big part in lapping the field. But on top of that, they're really smart organization. I'm going to tell you what money does. Last year, they spent an inordinate amount of money to improve their bullpen. And every pitcher they got fell on their face. And those players are still signed. Big money players still signed that were ineffective. So because you have more money than anybody, they've gone out and they've outspent their mistake. Now they go to Edwin Diaz. I mean, you look at the money they spent last year on relievers, and it didn't work out. Didn't work out. That's what money does. You can outspend your mistakes. That's their advantage. And they're willing to do it. And when does the money spigot stop? I guess it doesn't. They get players to take deferrals. I mean, Ohtani is, for what he's worth to that team, he's essentially playing for free. $2 million they pay him a year. $2 million a year. The other $68 million is deferred. So it was a brilliant, brilliant stroke by them. And that's another thing that Major League Baseball is going to stop. Because that's deferred money that's 10, 15 years down the line where Guggenheim Partners might not even own the team. And then that becomes a debt service that the new owner is going to have to deal with. Because the bill will come due at some point. Just like the Bobby Bonilla bill is due every year for the Mets because of the deal that the Wilpons put together. But the Dodgers took that to the extreme. They took it to the extreme with Ohtani. And that was the stroke that turned them into this gigantic threat. Ohtani separates them from everybody else. He pitches. He's an unbelievable player. He's a yearly MVP. And now they add Edwin Diaz. I don't think they're done. So don't be shocked if they get a Kyle Tucker. Don't be shocked if they re-sign Bellinger. You know, a previous caller said, they had released him. Okay, they had released him. But he won an MVP for them. And the Cubs essentially released him. They traded him to the Yankees for Cody Poteet and ate $5 million of his contract. But maybe he found something last year with the Yankees. Now everybody wants him again, according to Boras. We'll see how it plays out. Because a guy that has essentially been discarded from two teams in his last two stops now is the belle of the ball. We'll see if everybody feels that way. We'll continue with the hot stove talk when we get back right here on the K Show, ESPN New York.
ESPN New York is throwing a holiday party you don't want to miss. Join us this Friday at your mother's house in Garden City. We'll be broadcasting the Michael K. Show live from 1 to 3, followed by Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg from 3 to 7, all while supporting a great cause. Bring a toy to benefit the Garden of Dreams Foundation and help make the season brighter for local kids in need. It's the ESPN New York Holiday Party this Friday, brought to you by Spiked Aid, Security Dodge, Amazon Pickup, and ESPN New York.
That 3 365. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. 21 plus only. Must be physically located in New Jersey. T&Cs apply.
D'Agostino, Law, Bite Back.
I'm injury attorney John Ryan D'Agostino, nicknamed The Closer, continuing D'Agostino and Associates' legacy of helping the injured for over 35 years. My father, John D'Agostino, built this injury firm to help accident victims.
This is John D'Agostino, and this is a family firm. For us, it's about doing what's right and making sure somebody pays for your pain. Call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-BITE-BACK.
They call me The Closer because big or small, in court or out, I'm fighting to get the job done, to win, to get you every dollar you deserve.
D'Agostino and Associates has offices throughout New York and New Jersey and will come to you. I've been there and I'll be there for you. Call us first at 1-800-BITE-BACK. 1-800-BITE-BACK. That's 1-800-248-3222.
I know that hiring can be challenging. You sort through tons of resumes and you get too many so-so applicants. You're just waiting for someone to match your role perfectly. Well, now, there's a place where you can meet them fast. ZipRecruiter.
Need to hire right away. Start your search for strong candidates. The right fit awaits. Build your team. Build it sooner. on ZipRecruiter.
Just head to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN right now to try it for free, and you're on your way to meeting your match. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. So try it now. Go to ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN. Once again, that's ZipRecruiter.com/ESPN.
Meet your match on ZipRecruiter. Try it free.
Friends, it's football season, the best time of the year. You should be out there tailgating, cheering on your team, and enjoying every Sunday. But if you're dealing with neck pain, back pain, sciatica, or nerve pain, even getting off the couch can feel like a challenge. You don't have to live like that. There's help. Dr. Jay Shaw at Sandwell Pain is New Jersey's top pain specialist. He's Ivy League trained, double board certified, and is dedicated to helping you get back in the game. Here's what makes the difference. No surgery, no scars, no long recovery, no pain medication. Just precise, non-surgical image-guided procedures that deliver real results. Dr. Shaw treats neck pain, back pain, joint pain, migraines, nerve pain, and sciatica with a plan that's customized for you. Same-day and next-day appointments are available, and with offices in Woodbridge, Livingston, and Inglewood, relief is always close. So don't let pain keep you on the sidelines this season. Visit SandwellPain.com to call, text, or book online. Most major insurances are accepted. That's SandwellPain.com. Relief is closer than you think, and it starts today.
Hey, it's Alan Hahn. Let me tell you about my friends at Bath Fitter. They remodeled the bath by my pool. They converted a tub into a shower. The result is amazing. Bath Fitter offers all types of custom bath renovations, including their unique PermaFit solution for a watertight fit. It's done in one day, easy to clean, and durable with no demo or mess, and it costs less than a standard replacement, plus a lifetime guarantee. Right now, you get no money down, no payments or interest until 2027. So start designing your bath today at bathfitter.com. There's only one Bath Fitter.
At AT&T, we guarantee our network so you can talk college football with your BFF while taking Buster to the vet.
Hey, yeah, I can't believe he ate the whole thing of chicken wings.
And I can't believe we're staging a comeback. Touchdown! Yes!
Staying connected matters. That's why in the rare event of a network outage, you'll automatically get a bill credit for a full day's service. For wireless downtime lasting 60 minutes or more caused by a single incident impacting 10 or more towers, must be connected to impacted tower at onset of outage. Restrictions and exclusions apply. See att.com/guarantee for full details.
Rich Eisen here. As you all know, I care deeply about pediatric cancer research and awareness. That's why I'm proud to talk about Hyundai Hope on Wheels. For over 27 years, every Hyundai sold has helped fund life-saving pediatric cancer research. Together with over 850 dealers nationwide, they've raised more than $277 million, supporting over 25,000 kids in their fight against cancer. At Hyundai, hope isn't optional. It comes standard. Visit HyundaiUSA.com and search Hyundai Hope on Wheels to learn more.
Now, here's something to consider. The Phillies desperately wanted Kyle Schwarber back, and they got him back. So that's, one of the Mets' big concerns in the East, the Phillies. Now, the Braves, everybody expects them under the new manager, Walt Weiss, healthy players, that they're going to be a threat again in the East. And the Mets, if we're to believe that they desperately wanted back Edwin Diaz, they lost the guy they desperately wanted back. It's kind of like what the Yankees with Soto last year. And the Yankees had a lot of pressure on them when they lost Soto, and they pivoted and they put together a team that tied for the most wins in the American League, 94, with the Blue Jays. So this was a pressurized situation for the Mets coming into this offseason because they didn't make the playoffs with a $340 million payroll. Can you imagine now how that has ratcheted up? That they've lost Diaz. All right, they brought in Simeon. They traded Nimmo. They signed Devin Williams, but they lost Diaz. So that kind of takes the oomph out of Devin Williams being the setup guy. Or did they sign Devin Williams knowing that they were going to lose Diaz? And again, these questions are unanswered at the time, so all we could do is explore possibilities. And by unanswered, maybe Diaz didn't want to come back. And maybe the Mets didn't want him back. Maybe they didn't want him back for some reason or another. They know him better than anybody. Or maybe Diaz didn't want to come back. He said about a month ago at the GM meetings, he just wants to win a ring. And if the Mets give me the best deal, I'd be happy to come back. The best deal. So they didn't have any kind of advantage on the fact that he was here for 6 years. More to come. I'm telling you, more to come. Let's go to Rich in Brooklyn. Rich.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
Good. How you doing?
All right, listen. How come you haven't said that was it in 2019 when Diaz hurt his knees jumping around after the World Baseball Classic, and when he cheated using the sticky stuff? Come on, you don't think the Mets knew that?
Well, but he still stayed with him, right? They signed him to another contract after that.
All right, Michael, but maybe he got fed up. He's not getting a ring.
Well, you just changed what you said. You said they got fed up. I said one thing, Rich. It could be he didn't want to be there, or they didn't want him.
Just like Jacob deGrom didn't want to be there either.
He did not want to be there, and he didn't like New York, didn't like the whole scene, so he went to Texas. But bottom line is, if it came down, Rich, to money, I'm sorry, Steve Cohen should never be outbid for money, ever. That's why I think it's deeper than money, Rich. But
it is deeper than money. It's because people love playing in L.A. Even though the traffic is bad, supposedly, it's warm out there.
No, I think that's the big attraction for the Japanese players. It's closer to home than the East Coast, and the weather is beautiful. Stars in the stands every night. They got a lot going for them, on top of the fact that they're filthy rich. But when you say he got hurt in the World Baseball Classic, you know who that hurt? Buck Showalter. He lost his job because of that. He lost his job. But the Mets signed Diaz to a contract after that. That had an opt-out in it. After 3 years. And he opted out. Sticky stuff. How many pitchers use sticky stuff? Garrett Cole used sticky stuff, right? Supposedly. He opted out of his deal and then decided not to. The Yankees could have said, no, look, you opted out. We don't want you back. They wanted him back. Let's go to Bill in New Jersey. Bill.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
Hey, Bill. I'm good. How you doing?
Good. Just kind of a juxtaposition here. I agree that Grisham had an outstanding, single year that doesn't match the back of his baseball card, but couldn't we say that for Bellinger last year? And I know everyone brings up the point for Grisham. Can't we at least slightly apply that to Bellinger as well, which would make me a little touchy on signing him for a long deal?
But I
know
don't,
he's a better ball player
all
around.
I think it's an apples and wrenches, though, Bill, because Bellinger's won an MVP with the Dodgers. The first year with the Cubs was unbelievable. The second year was and then he had a great year with the Yankees. So there have been, 3 outstanding years in there. Grisham, over the 3 previous years to last year, he hit like 190. So this was the outlier. Now, I truly believe, Bill, I think you're right. Grisham played himself into a better contract, but he made $5 million last year. Did he play himself into a $22 million contract? That was the risk of signing him to a qualifying offer or issuing the qualifying offer. He's a smart guy. His agent's smart. They took the money. He wasn't getting anywhere close to that, even if he signed a multi-year deal of average annual value. And if you're working with some kind of payroll restraints, by locking in the 22 on him, that's money you can't spend on others. That's the only issue. He had a great year. 34 home runs. He hit 235. He's patient at the plate. He's a good player. He didn't have a great defensive year, but he's won a Gold Glove before, and he was playing with a bad hamstring. So I don't blame them bringing him back. The only thing that catches my attention, you've run him back for $22 million. And if money is an issue, and we don't know, we'll see where the payroll ends up. If money is an issue, you locked in a guy that I think on the open market maybe would have gotten 10 to 12. You locked him in for $10 million over that at 22. I know it's only 1 year, but that impacts this year's payroll. It does. Well, again, if I had a gamble, I think that the Yankees right now, as Hal said, not Michael K., Hal said it would be ideal if we got under 300. And I think that that's their initial intent. But if I had a gamble, if Cashman comes back to Hal and goes, listen, I think we can get Bellinger, it's going to cost $28 a year for 5 years, but it's going to take us over 300, I think Hal signs off on it. I think. But I don't know. I'm not there in the inner workings. I just try to read the tea leaves. And when Brian made it a point on the Yes Network Hot Stove Show to come out and say we are too left-handed. Even though Bellinger hits lefties great, he is left-handed. And if you bring him back, you got lefty and left. You got a lefty in center. You got a lefty at third. You got a lefty at second. You got a lefty at first. You got a lefty behind the plate. You're continuing to be very left-handed. So it's going to be interesting to see the way they progress. Let's go to Frankie in Florida. Frankie.
Hi, Michael. It's always a pleasure, buddy. I respect your opinion. I'd like to have some dialogue.
Let's do it.
For dialogue on what I think the Steinbrenner is doing.
Right.
Okay, obviously it's an overpay for Grisham. I think the key to that was the 1 year, and here's why. Okay, because the shutdown, we don't know what that's going to bring. Okay, and in the long-term competition with Cohen, there is no way that he can compete with Cohen long-term, especially what he's doing in Flushing. So I think if things don't go the Steinbrenner way next shutdown, I think he'll get this Steinbrenner will finally seriously consider selling the Yankees. Okay, and then let me also elaborate on the Bellinger thing. Right now, there is absolutely no protection for Aaron Judge unless you're going to say Stanton, who can't keep himself on the field, and I don't think he's real protection for Aaron Judge anyway. So it makes no sense at all for the Yankees not to extend a little bit for Bellinger, who's proven hit lefties, like you said.
But extend to what, Frankie? To what extent? What if he gets? What if he wants 7 years?
Again, I don't know what his budget is. Okay,
but forget about budget. What if he wants 7 years?
Yeah, I wouldn't give him 7. And but again, if he wants to be a Yankee like he says he does, who knows what his position is, Michael? My point is that I think Hal is in a wait and see position to see what happens. He'll tell you everything and every excuse in the book. We're too left-handed. We're this, we're that, we're this, we're that. But I think he's really waiting for what's going to happen during this MLB shutdown. And like I said, if there's no sincere cap, I think he's going to get out.
Well, I can't speak to that, Frankie. I mean, only he knows. I mean, they are competitive. Even though they haven't won a World Series since 2009, they're competitive every single year, even with Cohen, with the ability to outspend. But, did he outspend to keep Diaz? No. So there are 2 giants now, and maybe a third with the Toronto Blue Jays, that, they're willing to open up the wallet and let the Benjamins fly out. But the thing that I push back with you on, Frankie, with Grisham, everybody keeps saying, well, it's just a 1-year deal. I get it. But it's impacting what you spend this year. He's a player that should be making $10 to $12 million a year. Instead, he's making 22. Has nothing to do with 2027, if there's baseball, or 2028. In 2026, that's $10 million less than the Yankees are able to spend, if, in fact, there's a limit to their budget. Because if you got him at 12, right, then you'd have $10 million more to spend if you want to bring in a Tucker or a Bellinger or make a trade for a high-priced guy. Again, this is working under the assumption that Hal said, again, not Michael K., Hal said it would be ideal to get under 300. So I think that's the initial intent, but I know Hal's competitive nature, and he would probably okay going past it. But if, in fact, they are going to stay under 300, please convince me that it was worth giving $22 million to Trent, who's a good player and deserved a raise because he had a tremendous year. And as for protection behind Judge, there's not a player out there that you could bring in that people would rather not pitch to that player than Aaron Judge. And when you say Stanton doesn't give protection, that's wrong. When Stanton was healthy in the second half of the season, he was a beast this year. He did provide some level of protection, but still you're going to pitch around Aaron Judge. There's no other Aaron Judge. There's no other Aaron Judge to put there. And when they got Soto, you'd say, well, Soto is a guy that would protect Judge. But you know what they did? They had Judge protect Soto. So who in the baseball universe are you going to acquire that's going to make the team say, I'd rather pitch to Judge than him? Doesn't exist right now. Even if it was Ohtani. Judge is a much better hitter than Ohtani overall. Much better. Now, Ohtani has the threat of home runs just like Judge. That would be an interesting choice, pitch to Judge or Ohtani. But Ohtani's not going anywhere. So anybody that's available right now, who gives you legitimate protection for Judge? Person doesn't exist. So the best protection for Judge is what they did with Soto, get people on in front of him so it becomes impossible to walk him. You've got to pitch to him. That serves as protection. We'll be back, finish it up till 3 o'clock. At that time, it's Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg right here on ESPN New York.
Tuesday with Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg. Will the Yankees or Mets make any moves during the winter meetings?
This is not the time to be shy. For the Yankees, now is the time.
Right, got it.
Everything you do now should be strictly to help Aaron Judge over the next couple of years win a championship. That's it. Period. Stop.
Will Karl Anthony Towns be available for the Knicks tonight in the NBA Cup? Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg today at 3 on ESPN New York and streaming live on YouTube.
If you've been injured on a construction site, then you need a lawyer who knows New York's unique labor laws. At the Parisman Firm, they have decades of experience handling construction accident cases and a proven track record of delivering huge results. Their team has already recovered nearly $1 billion for hardworking New Yorkers. From scaffold accidents to slip and falls and equipment failures, they've got your back. Call the Parisman Firm now at 718-WORKERS. That's right, 718-WORKERS, because your case is their cause. Get the justice you deserve today.
Brees Hall, the I-back, at the 5-yard line. Handoff, Brees Hall finds a crease, runs left. He's into the end zone for a Jet touchdown. Jets fans, come out to MetLife Stadium for a Week 17 divisional matchup. See the New York Jets host the New England Patriots Sunday, December 28th at 1 p.m. Presented by Ticketmaster. Lock in your seats now at nyjets.com/tickets. Once again, that's nyjets.com/tickets.
At Uline, the prevailing opinion is, if you don't live it, you don't believe it. The people at Uline believe in hard work, and they live it by being there 24/7 to answer your call, having 41,000 items in stock, and offering same-day shipping from 12 locations across North America. Business owners, sellers, buyers, shippers, and packers believe it. Uline is the hard-working, dependable source for your shipping and industrial supplies. Visit uline.com.
Every aspect of your business will operate better and faster with artificial intelligence. AI is a race, and companies that act first will win. Thrive Managed AI is your advantage over all your competitors. Thrive partners with you on a smart, secure AI strategy for your business. Then they deploy and manage it for you. Be first and win the race with Thrive Managed AI. Start with a complimentary strategy consultation at thrivenextgen.com/ESPN. That's thrivenextgen.com/ESPN.
Some stages celebrate. This one tests everything. Every drive, every approach, every putt. Pressure builds. Resilience matters. And history waits for the bold. In June, the 2026 U.S. Open Championship returns to the Hamptons at the iconic Shinnecock Hills Golf Club. Experience the world's best golfers competing on one of the sport's most storied stages. Don't just watch greatness, experience it live at the 126th U.S. Open. Daily tickets are available now on SeatGeek.
Health surprises can change your life in an instant. You've seen it happen to others, but it doesn't have to be your story. At Princeton Longevity Center, we customize actionable and proactive health plans to maximize your lifespan and take control of your health. Our Cancer Check program combines cutting-edge technology with top medical expertise to keep you ahead of potential risks. With advanced full-body imaging, genetic testing, and multi-cancer detection blood tests, we look for even the earliest signs of problems. Results are analyzed by expert physicians who craft a personalized plan to safeguard your future. You're not just a patient, you're a partner in your health journey, backed by a team committed to helping you live longer, healthier, and more vibrantly. Our programs have saved hundreds of lives and empowered countless others to take control of their health. Be proactive with your health for the ultimate peace of mind. Call 888-8000-PLC or visit PrincetonLongevityCenter.com.
Hey, fam!
fans! Welcome back to Fansville's Cheers and Tears. Oh. Okay, so everybody deals with losing, right? To a rival on a last-second field goal. Whatever, it's fine. I'm totally fine. But I cope with losing with an ice-cold Dr. Pepper. Those 23 flavors are so delicious. They totally wash away the pain of your college football team taking a big fat L. College football, it's a pepper thing.
Fellas, it's the season to shine, and not just from the holiday lights. Manscape is here to keep you looking sharp for every holiday party, family photo, and mistletoe moment. The Lawnmower 5, groin and body trimmer, and the Chairman Plus face shaver deliver precision, comfort, and control worthy of Santa's nice list. I've been good and nice. Whether you're tidying up before a big night out or preparing for New Year's Eve, Manscaped has your back. And your face too, to be exact. So gift yourself with some grooming greatness this season, because looking good is the best gift of all. And now you can find Manscaped products at your local Walmart.
ESPN New York is throwing a holiday party you don't want to miss. Join us this Friday at your mother's house in Garden City. We'll be broadcasting the Michael K. Show live from 1 to 3, followed by Don, Hahn, and Rosenberg from 3 to 7, all while supporting a great cause. Bring a toy to benefit the Garden of Dreams Foundation and help make the season brighter for local kids in need. It's the ESPN New York Holiday Party this Friday, brought to you by Spiked Aid, Security Dodge, Amazon Pickup, and ESPN New York.
All right, so very quickly, during the commercial set, we're so glad that Manscape is one of the sponsors to the show. But what was said on the commercial was, use Manscape and get ready for your holiday photos. Who's pulling their drawers down in their holiday photo? I don't even know if you can send that through the mail. How does that get you ready? And a previous commercial was, get ready for your big business meeting. There's been stories about Zoom meetings where people got in trouble for that. But that's not really the plan. You know what I mean? It's not really the plan. Get ready for your holiday photos in Manscaped. That's not what I do when I get ready for a holiday photo. One other thing that's bothering me about the holidays. So anybody puts up a tree, right? They have the lights. Here's what I don't get. If one of those stupid little lights goes out, the whole string goes out. So that means that you have to go through 100 lights to find. It doesn't just pop out. That's the one that's bad. You have to go through 100 lights. Who does that? Why build it that way? Why can't you let the other lights stay on if a light blows out? Instead, all the lights go out. And I think I figured it out. They want you to buy more lights. Disgusting. Disgusting. We told you Scott Boras' little pun-laden limerick about Bellinger. Well, he had one on Alonso, too. Pete lives in Tampa. It's rather warm there. The polar vortex of last year has kind of thawed. That prior bear market is exhausted. So now we have the running of the bulls in Tamplusa. If Scott was standing in front of my daughter, she would have a look and she'd go, cringe. I like Scott a lot. I don't know why anybody in his corporation doesn't pull him aside and say, this is a bad look, man. You look ridiculous. This stuff is cringe. Talent is the best way to market your player, not some silly limerick. It's so dumb. Scott Boras is one of the smartest guys I've ever come across in baseball in all the years I've been around the sport. But over the last couple of years, he's turned this into, it's silly time. He makes himself look silly, like he's disconnected from reality. I don't get it. I don't get it. Let's see how much that bear market has thawed, Scott. Let's see if you can get a 7-year deal for Pete Alonso. I want to see you do that. And if you get him a 7-year deal, I'll shut up about these cringe puns. I'd say, you know what? You're right. You know better than I do. But I don't think you're getting him a 7-year deal. And you're certainly not getting it from the Mets. Let's go to Abner in Glen Cove. Abner. Hey, Abner.
Hey, Michael. How are you?
I'm good. How you doing?
I'm doing great. This is the first time I ever got through to you.
Welcome aboard.
I've been listening to you for like 25 years.
Well, thank you for that. I appreciate it.
You know what? I'm a little upset about the whole thing with the Yankees. I don't believe that Bellinger is worth $150 million. I think they should move on from him. As good as he was last year, I don't believe that he's worth that. I believe that we can go after the right fielder in San Diego. I think it would be awesome.
Yeah, but Abner, he's younger. He's going to be cheaper, and I would agree with you. But the one thing is, you bring back Bellinger, it costs you nothing but money. You make a deal for Tatis Jr., you're going to have to trade an awful lot. This is a superstar that you'd be getting in a trade that's signed for 7 more years. And he also has a no-trade clause that he has to waive to approve any trade. So, yeah, I think Tatis would answer all their problems. He's a phenomenal athlete. He could play left field. He could play shortstop if need be. And he's a right-handed hitter. That would be a great guy to hit either in front or in back of Aaron Judge. Now, with Bellinger, would I like to have him back? Of course I'd like to have him back. But there's going to be a point, if what Boras is saying is true, that all these people want him, there's going to be a point that the Yankees will tap out. And it's going to be hard to blame them. There'll be a point they'll say, okay, we don't think he's worth that. We don't think it's worth that many years. But don't judge yet what the Yankees are doing until they do it. Let's see what they do. Then we can actually be very vocal about whether we agree with it or not. At this point, not even close to the end of the market. I mean, there's only been 2 major free agents signed, Schwarber and Diaz. There's a lot more. Tucker, Bellinger, the pitchers that are available. I'm telling you, let's all be patient. We'll be back again tomorrow at 1. We could talk more about it if stuff starts to break. Coming up, Hahn and Rosenberg. I'm sure they'll be all over what's happening down in Orlando and the Knicks' big game tonight in the Emirates Cup quarterfinals against Toronto. A lot of stuff to do. Great time on the show today. Thank you all. Thanks to Finebaum. Thanks to Spears. Tomorrow we have Lupica. In the words of Billy Joel, life is a series of hellos and goodbyes. I'm afraid it's time for goodbye again. See everybody. Have a wonderful afternoon. Stay warm, and we will talk to you tomorrow at 1.
Tuesday with Hahn and Rosenberg. Will the Yankees or Mets make any moves during the winter meetings?
This is not the time to be shy.